Welcome back, everyone, to EUCF 2024. We've come to Oostende on the Belgian coast for the big show, and we've got women's pre-quarter action for you. A huge matchup that we could have been seeing a lot later in the weekend. Number 1 overall seed YAKA up against Eastblock, who were seeded 5th coming into the weekend, but both had disappointing days yesterday, and so one of them will be eliminated right here, right now. It's Benji Reese with you in the booth, delighted to be joined by a usurping, wandering Connor Hogan. Morning, Hoagie.
Thanks for having me, Benji. Looking forward to this one. Some have described me as the Steph Passo from Wish, but you know, I'll do my best to live up to the glory of that man who's just walked past us.
You'd go as high as Wish, would you?
Yeah, Tamu maybe.
I'll let you have it for now.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I think spirits are a lot higher today than they were for a lot of teams yesterday. Because, I mean, you all know firsthand, of course, because Reading have been playing in it. But it was horrible yesterday, wind and rain. And if the glamorous Ibis budget hotel is anything to go by, there's a lot of wet, stinking cleats around. But today, no, the wind is still up. Thankfully, it's not as high as it was yesterday. But the sun is out as well. So I think these are conditions where you can, quote-unquote, play Ultimate a bit more.
Yeah, a bit of a throwers win for sure. Yesterday, very soggy. It caused a lot of like slippy and drop sticks just from like standard catches. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. There'll be, I think, an exciting like style clash here between the big shapes, big throws from YAKA, and then I've seen a lot of small ball and fast pace from Eastblock this year. So really interesting style clash, as they say.
So the reason we have these two teams matching up now rather than later is because for YAKA, 2 wins in the pool, but they lost on Universe to Moon Cup in their last game of the day on a monstrous layout from Carmen Lagala. And for Eastblock, started with a good but maybe slightly underwhelming win against Woof, and then the old enemy, the bogey team Troubles, got them again on Universe, and then Jinx looked very impressive in their victory in the afternoon. So with YAKA coming second in their pool and Eastblock third in theirs, we've got these two heavyweights fighting it out in the pre-quarters. Only one will advance, and that's a terrible way to start for Eastblock. Centering pass, and it's dropped by Vavrova.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of classic of this weekend. What should be a standard swing just getting dropped, and what should just be a clap catch. We see a shot to the end zone, a little bit overthrown, and Eastblock get that one back. Some good reset defense from YAKA.
It did feel like the stall count was ticking up, and thought I'd put a bit of air underneath it, see if someone like Matthias can get there, but no, it wasn't to be, so get a chance to talk it to the front of the end zone here in the hands of Hadava. Slash and cut across from this near side of the field, caught well by Mashkova. Wants Hrushakova underneath.
So I'm seeing some chest-to-back defense at the moment here from YAKA. I think they're pushing players towards the disc initially, although we do see a hook. But I was seeing some chest-to-back pushing people towards the disc and seeing if they can pressure those unders. Maybe they know more than me about Eastblock, but I'm scared a little bit of the deep game. But
I mean, Eastblock, we do think of them as a small ball team, and I think that is their signature style, but you know, they are capable of opening it up when they need to. And I think yesterday at times, you know, they don't really get the chance to train in windy conditions, and I think they were accused of being a little naive at times and not playing the conditions smartly enough. But I think today they've shown, actually, you know what, if opportunities are on, even if they're maybe not 100%, sometimes, you know, playing the positional battle is not such a bad thing. Matthias wants the swing and is in and out of Bocanegra's hands. Get a chance to pick up on the end zone line, and they will just pop it in with the very first pass. Hutsova finds Christina Tlister, and Eastblock on the board with a hold to start, taking a 1-0 lead.
yeah, so both teams trading turnovers on slightly longer shots and also trading turnovers on more standard clap drops. Hopefully both teams just find their way into this game, clean it up a little bit, and we'll get an absolute banging matchup between two of the best teams in Europe. But a little shaky start for sure.
When you're in a weekend like this and you accept that there probably are going to be errors, how do you adjust that mentality where you kind of, obviously you set high standards for yourself, but you don't want to necessarily be too punishing on those errors? Yeah,
for sure. It's totally a mental game. The game has progressed a lot to the point where O and D line's a lot more clinical, typically. Turnover is more expensive. So you spoke a little bit to it. Eastblock maybe being a little naive and not wanting to do the bit of hook and D in this kind of environment, this kind of climate. You want to be able to throw some more speculative things, some more creative things, trying to open things up and be okay with mistakes. It's a long game. You know, your chances will come, so you just have to be kind to yourself. Mistakes do happen.
It's so tricky, especially as an O-line player, if you think, okay, the #1 priority for us is treasuring and valuing possession, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Sometimes turnovers are great.
Absolutely. Position and possession, two things you need to balance. But absolutely, in weather like this, position can be king. Or queen, as it were.
Paul is going to roll. It's going to not quite make it level with YAKA's brick mark. LeBourne with a low throw going in that direction. You want to put a little bit of air underneath it, I think, and this is what we expect from Eastblock. The quick pick and go. They do not hang around if they can help it. Adachiva has an underneath option here. Kozlova. Janska. Trying to fit that one through, through the first receiver and under through the second.
Yeah, a little chaotic around the disc. I really like the quick start and play, but they just needed to tidy up the space in front of the disc to have some clear throwing lanes, cutting lanes.
But YAKA picking up very close to their own end zone. Here's Lacoste Lefebvre. Pumped and back in field instead. Now Clara Matthias, fresh off a bronze medal winning performance with France Mix, of course, out in Australia. Finds the Spaniard Gonzalez. Plenty of space then. Now for Matthias, looking at the end zone a few metres out. Got to use the proper European terminology. Trying to find the inside window, beautiful throw. Really teased the defender in, but slotted it in to Swan Lacoste Lefebvre, who's had a pretty good summer, let's be realistic. Gold medal at under-20s, bronze at WUC, and picking up the goal there to get YAKA on the board.
Yeah, that was a really crispy shot to the inside. As you say, really teasing that defender, but a great bid. I thought she was going to get there. YAKA doing a really good job of clearing the space that Eastblock were struggling to clear on their own offense. But, you know, opportunities for breaks on both sides. I think this should be a pretty exciting match as it progresses, and maybe some of those break opportunities missed will haunt some of these, like either of these teams later in the game, but I guess we'll see as we go through.
Get a good shot of it there from the drone camera, just that center of the field opening up with the cutters clearing out of that space.
I do love the drone shots, and I think pretty brave to put the tech up in the air on a day like today, but yeah, no, bringing us the goods.
Yeah, the wind's not quite strong enough yet, touch wood, that we need to take it down. And actually, it's like when we have heavy rain like we did yesterday, that is also really, really perilous to fly. But having it out there, yeah, can be such a good asset, because it really, at times, allows you to see the field in the way that you know, the thrower sees it and how the play develops. Hadova charges forward to the disc, goes with the offhand high release, trying to access the break side space. Khrushchev's slow towards it and can't get there. And a pick downfield, as it is, might well stay here in the hands of the breakout player of the year in the women's division last year, the ever impressive and athletic Aman Babikian.
Yeah, I saw Man's Instagram on Thursday saying she was still in Australia, flying back to France. So the fact she's here, I have a deep respect for her. To travel all that way and get back and just come straight into a tournament is no mean feat on your energy levels, on your body, so fair play to her.
Yeah, literally the other side of the world, so literally. Understandable that you'd be jet-lagged.
Yeah.
And the hand block there from Zaliska, maybe, I think, stole a march on her.
The curse of the commentator.
You're one of us now, Hoagie.
Yeah, I'll apologise to her later.
Higher still putting some air underneath it. Hadova's going to win.
That was insane.
Spectacular from Dominika Hadova. Superb chance to make a play. It's what you do in that direction. Bit of air underneath it. Can Hadova chase it down using the wingspan well? And my word, that is some grab.
That throw was into a space that only she can make a play on, and make a play she did. Give me a replay. That was sick.
Yeah, 18-year-old Dominika Hadova, because, you know, we forget sometimes that this is a very young roster here for Eastblock. So many of them still juniors eligible, and I mean, they've got very bright futures ahead of them, and a big play like that, especially when you're quite a young team, can be huge in providing that energy that you desire. I mean, that is full horizontal extension right there, the head spike as well to boot. You love to see it, and when I was speaking to the Eastblock coaches before the game, I think they were cognizant of, we're quite a young team. YAKA are vastly experienced. They've seen this situation a lot more than we have, and we feel like, if we can get off to a good start, we make the thing so much easier for us, because we will feed off that energy and off those vibes. The deeper we take the game, the more we fancy ourselves. But if YAKA get on top early, it can get quite easy to get a bit insular sometimes.
I loved the surprise look in her face as she came up with the disc. With form like that, she has the ability to take these discs, and that is a fantastic catch, and the very appropriate head spike to boot. That is well worthy of a good celebration.
I mean, it's one of those things where you take the chance and you back yourself, because if you don't go for it, you never. Of course, she never would have got it. But once you get one of those, two of those, you feel like, okay, all of a sudden, these bids that I'm putting in aren't speculative anymore, because I've done it before and I'll do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be unfamiliar with a big lad at EUCF myself, so much respect.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, throwback.
Eastblock then trying to slow YAKA's offense down. Quite a flat zone up front here. I think they're happy for YAKA to have these lateral passes, providing they don't really get any downfield gains.
Yeah, I've seen the similar zone from Iceni, and also France Open, especially in previous years, where they kind of put this wall in front of the handlers, but don't necessarily put on a ton of pressure. But it creates this real disconnect between handlers and cutters. So when they do break out of the zone, or the handlers do get behind the zone, there's just this massive space between the handlers and cutters. It's very hard to get reconnected, and then they can reset again.
You're not necessarily actively forcing turnovers in the way that some zones might, but you do slow things down, and you weasel and you bore it out of them.
Correct. Yeah, real pace changer. And yeah, I mean, I like it. I like it in this weather to have something that's a little bit passive and just see what you can get out of an offense.
Because as we've mentioned, errors will happen in these conditions. You'd love them not to, but unfortunately, it is part of the game.
And we almost saw one there. Oh,
and then the toss over the top, but not a problem.
That's
one Lefevre again.
Yeah, clean final shot there. One or two slightly more floaty throws there. That YAKA, we're very patient with, chase down, and that last throw, to a very chemistry heavy connection there, I'd say. Yeah, very very nice reception.
This is certainly a team that you would fancy to be able to stay patient with these zones. They've got such an arsenal of throws across the roster, and Lefevre again has become such a key part of YAKA already. Was on the O-line for France mixed out in Australia, and was a key part, of course, as we mentioned before, of that amazing gold medal victory against the USA in the women's division final at WJUC back in Birmingham in July, which was, the French women that week were superb and fully deserved the title.
Yeah, really enjoyable to watch. I hadn't paid much attention to juniors the last few years, I must admit, but I was watching a lot of it this week, and I was glued to that final. It was brilliant.
And let's be real here, with all due respect to any Americans watching, everyone loves it when they don't win. Everyone loves it.
It's just something new, Not so same.
Yeah, there's a certain pressure that comes with, knowing that everyone there wants you to lose, and YAKA have to play with that a little bit as well, coming in as the #1 seed. There's a deep shot from Eastblock, well tracked, plucked down with the left hand on the end zone line. Thought they were going to potentially force it in, but no, we're just going to bounce it around outside. Eventually someone will free themselves up, and that's exactly what happens. Vavrova, who ate up all that yard going deep, just tosses it forwards to Elena Dolejalova. And that is 3-2 to Eastblock, and after a slightly shaky start for both teams, it feels like the offenses have really settled down.
Yeah, stunning shape on that hook, and a great reception as well. I thought they're the kind of shots yesterday that would just bounce out of someone's hand, and you'd be there left looking at it being like, why have you betrayed me? But after the catch, we've talked about the youth of this team, but that was really mature options to not try and squeeze something in, as you say, look back, get the reset, scoring another 2 passes. So yeah, really really good stuff from Eastblock. I'm enjoying watching them play.
And you can see her track then as the disc fades over her left shoulder. She just arcs that run ever so slightly, plucks it down, and then dumps it off, but doesn't stop, immediately follows it up. How can I get into an attacking position with that little bit of window I've already created?
Yeah, and I like to see that the final goal scorer of that phase, they pushed through, past the disc, and got right to the back of the stack, positioned themselves so that when the disc did go backwards and swing again, they were able to basically work off that momentum and then strike to the front corner. So that was really nicely timed, and gave themselves the space to do it as well.
Good discipline.
For sure.
Eastblock trying to pump themselves up on the sideline as the ball will roll out of this near sideline.
Yeah, roller is absolutely being something that's really been popularized in the last like 2-3 years. I saw at Worlds especially a lot of teams just not even trying to fight against the winds, just sticking something bladey that will roll out the sideline and be able to set up some kind of defense.
Yeah, there's something to be said for, you know, it might not be as impressive as that ball that pins you right in the back corner, but if you can consistently get it into a certain spot, it really allows your defense to have a clear picture of what they're trying to do when it comes in play.
Yeah, brilliant fake and break there from Delaval. Loved that to get out of what I thought was a tight position she was getting herself into.
Avec on descend to Lacoste Lefebvre. Now Delaunay with YAKA just working again, trying to find their way through the Eastblock zone. Nice little thread through that front line there, space down the far side, and YAKA feel like they've got that one solved.
Yeah, Lacoste Lefebvre, I think, really opening that up there from behind the cup or the wall. A couple of like 2-3 step jabs one way, and that just really moved the mid or whatever you want to call that roll behind the wall, getting them out of position and then taking a pop through. Really good manipulation of the zone there from behind the cup. Impressive to watch.
And you can see it again now on the replay. Just things spaced out too well. There's nothing too aggressive or egregious necessarily. It's about finding those little soft spots and those seams. And none of these passes in themselves are too difficult, and that's exactly what you want on offense, really.
No, for sure. I think if I'm the Eastblock coach here, I probably want to pinch in my wings. I haven't really figured out the full structure of this, but need to pinch in a little bit and protect the middle of the pitch behind the wall. But then, yeah, obviously the swings, and then the timing from YAKA, obviously very mature in their own offense. So it's about giving and taking a little bit. But we see Maria Castillo ready to start point number 7.
All the goals we've had so far this game have been scored in that end zone towards our right-hand side, which is the downwind end zone as we look at it.
This really could be a game of who can score the first or indeed like the most upwinders. It's a great break.
Beautiful inside backhand.
We talked about their small ball a lot, but that first pass was a big old gainer, and I have a lot of time for how they set that up. I'd love to actually see a replay of the opening phase. They're on the doorstep now. See if they can punch this in.
Hadava turning and trying to find an option, but not really seeing one she likes so far. Going with it worked out. It was not the prettiest scuba I've ever seen, but that's superb hands from Marisa Luska, especially when you're being marked by someone like Babikian, because that was put up on a hope and a prayer, and the prayers were answered.
No, for sure. Stunning grab under a lot of pressure. Maybe a little bit more contact than the offender was ready for. But, you know, real sticky hands to reel that one in. Big fan of that catch, must say. The scuba, I'm a fan of the option as well, but the flight needs work.
Yeah, the execution wasn't ideal, but it worked out, so I guess it's fine. I think that's again, it felt like we're holding the disc for quite a while now. I've got to get something off, and if I'm going to do that, let's put something towards that break side where my receiver is, well, should anyway have position.
Yeah, famously someone said they all count.
Who was that?
John Madden.
That man knew so much about Ultimate. He just didn't know it.
Yeah, I actually think he would actually be a really good strategist, to be fair.
I'd love to see him with an Ultimate Telestrator. How good would that be?
Oh, brilliant.
So that's the next thing we need for legitimacy. Get the Telestrator in.
Madden 2026, but it's Ultimate.
I've had so many conversations about
with the EA Sports
how good a Frisbee video game would be.
Yeah.
And then we realised that actually Frisbee's too versatile and fluid a sport to be mapped to one controller.
For sure. Oh yeah, okay. I love that. The dual controller, one player.
At that point, you may as well just play ultimate.
Yeah.
This is a nice little sideline trap they've got set up. And the zing on that flick across the field goes to turf.
So Eastblock in just shy of the break mark here, but a break opportunity, the first we've seen in a fair few points.
And they're in good field position as well, advancing into the red zone. Nice little seal created past the defender, Delaval. Done back to Masloviakova. A couple of players in a similar space. High release caught well by Shvetsova. Back now to Kotrubova. Kotrubova leading. Oh, it's floating over Matthias. Ooh. And a slight fumble. Masloviakova is able to stick it. Breathes a warm sigh of relief. And Eastblock get the game's first break. They're on top 5-3.
And importantly, also the game's first upwind.
Yeah.
We've seen these pulls reaching past halfway, but not getting as far down the pitch as you would see on these downwind pulls, which we will now see the first of from Eastblock. I think the spacing in front of the disc in the open lane again was a little bit untidy from Eastblock, but actually how they got through it was a couple of slash cuts, striking from behind the disc across the force, and that final pass was very much so a trust throw. The receiver was face marked, so the defender didn't see this one coming up until it was too late, and yeah, good composure after the bobble to reel that one in from the 47.
Yeah, Kotrubova is one of the older players on the roster comparatively. I say older because still younger than I am at 30, the number 44 for Eastblock. But again, you mentioned really good recognition of that face mark there from Matthias, and normally I'm not necessarily a fan of face marking, but in that position where, you know, the thrower's going into the wind, you feel like if they put something up that they're trying to float it beyond you, there's a good chance that you can locate that and get the block. But in that situation, just enough space and enough shape on it as well to take it around Matthias and into Masloviakova for the score.
You certainly picked up on what I was going to pick up on, was the shape of the throw. So it wasn't just a put it up in the air, it was a very nice OI backhand, enough kind of, dare I say, blade on it, or yeah, I think it's kind of just say shape on it, so that it was able to drop without just hanging up in the air and giving the defender, who didn't know where it was coming from, a bit on it.
Yeah, nothing outrageous, just a little bit of roll curve in the trajectory. We'll see now if they can cash in the subsequent downwinder, or whether YAKA will be able to hold going into the elements.
Yeah, so this is a really important point for YAKA. You want to be able to get this hold going upwind, and then come out with a strong D-line and see if you can get that break back.
I mean, they've got a lot of powerful throwers on this line. Bas has it now. You've got Mondiaux, Meisel, Castillo's roaming around as well. At the moment, though, it's just swing to win for the Parisians. Castillo pings it across towards the far side. Now Babikian, they've worked to midfield. Bas finds Meisel on this near side.
I think the Eastblock mid could do with a little bit of help. No, okay, right. The wing did pinch in. I was hoping to see that from a previous point, so that's good that they've made that adjustment.
Reset to Babikian. Now Bas, what do they want? They found that option through the middle, and Castillo gets it out of our hands quickly. Working very well here, YAKA. They've got this swing again to Meisel. Instead, Bas not quite sure. Can they thread it forward? Finding Bocanegra, gets it out of her hands. Trying to get the red zone stand now. Eastblock, still count rising, and just fits that in. Free in a phone booth. Babikian stopped and waited for Zenz to put it on her for the YAKA score.
Yeah, another face mark punished. Aman just waited for that one to you know, for her throw to lock eyes and just say, hey, I'm just going to stand still, you put it around my defender, I'll catch that for a goal. Really good patience from YAKA. You spoke about the strength of the throwers in that line. This passive zone kind of allowed them to take their shots. I think if I were Eastblock, I might have kept the zone for when they're going downwind to slow down their pace, and then would have come out with person defense going upwind to see if we can hassle the YAKA players a little bit more rather than letting them pick those shots.
Yeah, I think I'm with you with that. Going downwind, I really like that look, but upwind, even if you don't necessarily want to play match, then, you know, going back into the playbook, pulling out a different zone that maybe is a bit more active in generating pressure.
Hard agree.
If you give throwers of those quality the ability to just take those free resets and swing it around all day, they're disciplined and sensible enough to do it. I would not be, but
Route 1 Benji, they call him.
Hey, why would you throw 20 passes if one will do? That's just maths. You can tell that my degree was not in maths. Neither of them were in maths.
Oh, the 2-degree flex, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, their degrees in philosophy and sports broadcast journalism, so between them that's maybe a third of a degree. But they all count.
They all count.
They all count, as the great John Madden once said. Now Eastblock working into the wind. Mashkova to Hadavar. So this is going to try and stretch it. I thought that one was undercooked, but Solista comes back towards it brilliantly. Just going to take the reset off to Haveltseva. YAKA going with a defensive strategy that's more akin to, I think, what you would have desired, where they're just putting a lot of pressure on those one-to-one matchups.
And a veteran foul call here as well. You know, you could sense that the stall was rising. Oh, and you know what? That was actually really good body positioning from the dump reset. They take the contact, call the foul.
Yeah, Delabau just held their ground.
Yeah, no, for sure. I actually really like that. I haven't seen actually a ton of defense like that this weekend. So that was awesome. Big fan, big fan.
Now on the high stall, putting the air underneath it, Mabakondiason's going to challenge for it, and I think what she did well there was just suck Vavra into getting way too underneath it, and it falls harmlessly to turf.
For sure. Fish stuck at the fishing line, got a big catch, you know.
Which is weird when you come up with nothing, but that was a big catch.
It's all about the metaphors here on this stream.
The biggest fish is the friends we made along the way or something.
Also John Madden, or?
No, that's Diogenes.
I see.
Great man. Now YAKA going to work with this zone that is intent on slowing them down, and that is a turn.
Yeah, short field here. I would love to see Eastblock tidying up the disc, or the space in front of the disc. Although there's that slash that they are implementing quite well to create space.
Talistas get isolated at the front of the end zone up against Lacoste Lefebvre. Really smart poach in there. Just to stop that first throw going. Talistas is going to try and power away up line. No, hitting the inside on the bounce back. They're so good in those small spaces.
Love that offhand throw.
Zaluska. Now Hadavar. Looking a little bit disorganized, and you felt like the pick was coming.
Quote unquote Benji Reese. Suspiciously free in the end zone.
It was very fishy.
We're loving our aquatic references today.
Yeah,
we're having a whale of a time here.
Nice.
Thanks.
We'll come back in then with Hadavar. Dalish Hadavar. Hadavar now finds Talista. Talista trying to get aggressive on the disc. And YAKA, they're doing so well. It doesn't matter what goes as long as it's not in the end zone. But that is a superb throw. Just forward a little bit on the pivot to create that angle through the inside lane. And Eastblock restore the 2-point lead.
I'm loving the agility of the Eastblock cutters in that kind of ISO position. Between Talista and, I'm looking for the name. I thought that was 23, so I don't have them on the roster. But the eventual score of that, incredible little jab steps to manipulate their defenders and gaining a lot of space for themselves. Really enjoyable to watch. It's just that short space cutting I love to see.
I think it's Vavrava 63.
Ah, that's on me. I'm blind.
It's all right. It's an awkward angle for us to see the numbers from, but you can see it here from the drone angle as well. There's not a huge window in there, but throw goes out early as well, so it can lead them a little bit to the space. And Eastblock, they play such a different style from so many teams where you're focused on, creating huge lanes and big gainers, whereas Eastblock, they're very happy taking the, 4, 5, 6 yard throws, however much it may be, as long as we just keep the disc moving. And we're constantly, as a defender, making sure you're on your toes, and that's quite mentally as well as physically fatiguing.
Yeah, and you speak to keeping the disc moving. Absolutely agreed. It also keeps the stall count low.
Yeah.
So the longer that you keep YAKA out there, the more that D will tire, and you're in control on offense. So it's just about biding your time, finding the gaps. It's really, really nice to see.
So we'll see what Eastblock come up with now defensively. Last time, again, they went with that containment zone that didn't really end up containing too much.
Indeed, I'd love to see some aggressive looks here.
Bas fields the pull from the floor.
Yes, and they've come in person. They must have been watching the stream and heard my comments from the last point.
Yeah, just sagging off the handlers slightly, I think, to gum up those lanes, but getting tighter now. They're at midfield. Meisel.
Storkat rising.
A little bit behind Bas. Picked up by Kotrobova. No fear in gunning it deep, but it didn't get enough air underneath it. But I think that is one of those calculated punts that Eastblock maybe didn't put up enough yesterday.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, yeah, shout out Thundering Herd, who used to have the phrase of too much gym, not enough track. But no, I like that. I like that look for sure. I think it needed a slightly less shape on the throw, a little bit more sit, and the receiver would have been the only one to have a, or the intended receiver would be the only one to have a bid. But we get the block back. I say we see the block back from Eastblock. Short field now.
It's Kotrobova's second block of the point. Adacheva. Kotrobova going to try and lead that into space, and too far. Just continued going when it just needed to hold up that little bit more. But Eastblock are really pushing for this downwind break to really put YAKA under the pump.
Yeah, and I wonder who it was. I think it might have been Paula Bass, but I saw them throw out a foot on the forest and stop what it would have been a sure break around, but essentially saved the point there for YAKA.
And that's Rasta all day. In the wind, doesn't matter. We've got some space. Let's hammer it down the sideline to Meisel. Again threading it now. Bocanegra gets it off to Castillo, and they've got some more room to work with, and with the disc moving, Eastblock are having to work now. Castillo back to Bas.
Yeah, I would have liked off that last break up the line if there was in that power position more of a deep cut with Ernest, but they've got the disc back in the middle of the pitch. That's also where you want to play from, so I guess they're happy out with that.
I think a marking infraction.
Just upgraded to a violation for sure.
As did Bas make the correct symbol for the violation? No, because no one ever remembers to close their hands.
Close their hands, too right. Yep.
People will learn one day. Here's Castillo, looking for the underneath. Tease the defender in again, trying to flash across.
I'm loving these calculated flashes in the lane from Eastblock. It's great to see.
Now Castillo catching under pressure.
They know the value of this break, and they're really going for another block here. It's awesome to watch the bodies flying.
Bas opens up the arm. What a throw that is, accessing the weak side, leading Drucker into space. Bas, they were dealing right there.
Yeah, that is vintage Paula Bass. That is a stunning throw into the enormous break side that they had set up. Only one person was coming down with that, and yeah, Drucker did.
I mean, that's a classic throwing a player open. So where is the space? Okay, I'm going to put it into an area where if anyone's going to come down with it, it's only going to be my teammate. But Kotrobova there just comes flatter on the force, and Bas sees the opportunity, puts the air underneath it, and it's weighted perfectly for Drucker. Missed opportunities though for Eastblock. That's great field vision.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'd love to know if I could go back, 2 minutes and listen to the sideline. Was anyone giving her insight on the force, whether or not she should take more inside, more around? Because that was definitely a case where everyone was a little bit already over on the break side, and the inside was quite covered. So the fact she got a little flatter opened up that massive break side throw from Bas. So I just wonder if she's getting the right information in from the sideline.
Mashkova catches the pull. Hadova now just shy of her own brick mark. There's a French sideline trying to generate some pressure for the #1 seed here, YAKA.
It's getting rowdy for sure.
Love it when it gets a bit rowdy.
Yeah, good atmosphere,
But especially for a young team, this can be a real test of holding your nerve. Cluster marked well there by the opposite number 26, Matthias. So they find the inside lane to Haveltseva. Back to Mashkova. inside. Nice snatch, that one by Delajalova.
Yeah, I'm loving these 7 cuts from Eastblock. Whether it's to, across the break side and then bouncing open or vice versa, it's brilliant. They're setting up all these breaks, which are awesome to watch. Great save there too.
Yeah, Vavrova's had an excellent game, and she gets horizontal again there. Now Talista wants the bounce back from Delajalova, puts a bit of air underneath it, too much air. I think she was just shy of the end zone, so has to reset her feet.
Yeah, I think in that throw and go, she didn't intend to almost score, to almost throw an assist, but here we are.
Offhand back to Mashkova, work it through the free play ahead of her. Again, just Talista sits down in that space. And it's very congested at the front. Looks around, and defender, I think, takes the eyes off for long enough for Talista to put it into Hutsova for the score, 7-5 Eastblock.
You pointed this out earlier on, very wisdomly, but these forward pivots from Eastblock are really opening up those inside shots, and they're not really throwing many around breaks. I wonder if it's an adjustment that YAKA should make to be a little bit tighter on those insides, force them around, see if the wind will push them down.
I think I agree with that, actually. I don't want to say I sounded like I was surprised by it, but yes, it makes a lot of sense where they're having a lot of love on this side, adjust that force, come a bit flatter, see what they can do, and there's a great example of Talista in that space downfield, not having to do too much, just saying, okay, I can sit here, relatively speaking, of course, not actually sitting down, and trust that my thrower can get a little bit of lead on that to the break side. And with my defender unsighted, seeing that late again, I can catch and turn before they get into position.
I think this is a clinic in small ball and patience, and I'm really enjoying watching it. I think I will probably rewatch this when I'm less worried about the things I say and actually take some notes, because this is brilliant to watch. Yeah,
when everything clicks for Eastblock, there are a few teams I enjoy watching more.
Okay.
Not that I have a rooting interest in this, except for the fact that I picked Eastblock in my picks because I've been riding this hype train for years, and if I let it go now, I'd be accused of being a fraud.
And a coward. Yes.
Yeah, exactly that. It's like if Lorcan didn't pick Pelt for a tournament, he would never hear the end of it. It would be even worse than all the stickies taken for picking Pelt.
For this tournament?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Well, I mean, he was given a good old defense of why they could beat Tartu in the hotel yesterday. It didn't come to pass, but you know what? For a second, he had me believing.
I think there was a game yesterday where Jakob didn't play. He was injured, and that is just almost GG for Tartu if that happens. I hate to say it. They have some stunning players, Halantar for one, but Jakob is the heart, soul, arms, legs, and head of that team at times. So yeah, when he's not around, it's tricky for them to have the same impact.
Yeah, he did come off with an injury in their first game, which we streamed actually yesterday against Sky this for Shava, who did superbly to get themselves into a pre-quarter, although they fell on Universe to disconnection, which they came so close to sealing themselves an elite invite spot, which would have been 2 Polish teams in the mixed division at elite invite next year, because Savage pumped Padova in the pre-quarter this morning.
Wow.
But yeah, Jakob Tam was fit to go today, and that was a huge factor, I think, probably in Tartu's triumph over Pelt. So we will see Tartu in a quarter final.
Shout out to Savage.
We played them. What a weekend!
We played them the opening game last year and this year. Last year we beat them on Universe in our opening game, then they came something like second or third last. So the fact they've now qualified for Elite Invite next year by coming top 8 is huge for them, and fair play. Anyway, back to this game.
It's just giving you a little bit of a broader scope of the tournament as a whole, because there's been so much action in Oostende. How did Rasta find the window there? Mondio fizzed it through the cup and stuck it.
Such a confident throw, but I mean that is Rasta, unfazed by this cup.
What's funny to me is pretty much everybody in Europe knows who Rasta is, and I wonder how many have actually remember the Rasta hairstyle.
Yes, I think I do. First saw on the scene way back when.
Zens dishing it off to Bas. Bas trying to squeeze it through to Castillo. 2 defenders close. In the end, it's Haveltsova who gets the tip, and a foul called. They've crossed players like Haveltsova and Zaluska over here, which I think is smart. I think they sense that if they can get a downwind here into half, that's a huge opportunity. Yeah, and I mean, it's okay to cross some of your stars now. You have 2 more shots at half if you don't get this one.
So yeah, you may as well go for it, you know.
And that's a high stall, air underneath it, over the defender, the bid. Oh no, Valterova. It was superb to get there, but at extension, it's so tricky on that landing to not jar it loose, and that's what happened.
The ground strip, man, that is savage. Well, no, it's not, it's Eastblock, but that is, that's very sad to see.
It's brutal. And I think there's some re-spacing there from Bas. A couple of players in quite close there. YAKA, I wonder if they're feeling the heat now. There underneath it, that's a lovely weighted throw from Meisel. Dished off to Bas. Bas gunning it. Oh, Castillo turned the wrong way and didn't see it.
Good heads up from the deep there. You know, sometimes you want to just protect the deepest player, protect the end zone, but when you have the opportunity to come in, snipe, get a block, you got to take them. But you got to make sure that you'll get there.
And by catching the disc as well, they've been able to get on offense quickly, and they've already got to the brick mark, but stall count rising there. Kotrobova says, you know what? Why am I turning over here if I could turn over down there?
And we have an injury call on the pitch as well.
Yeah, trying to see who the player is who's come off.
Shouldn't I say pal?
Just having a look. Talista's coming on.
What a sub that is.
Yeah, so is Clara Matias, who pretty handy pair of legs to bring on in her own right as well.
Yeah, the superpowers about both teams getting on the pitch here as this point continues. A potential halftime point for Eastblock if they can get the disc back and convert, and a point to stay alive if YAKA can score upwind.
Yeah, game's a little bit longer today as well. The normal 90 minutes, they were slightly truncated yesterday to 80 minutes because of the wind. So there would be a timed half with a half-time cap at 45 minutes, but because of the scoreline, it'll be half at 8 regardless.
How do you feel about the timed half, Benji?
I think in really windy games, I approve of it because it gives the opportunity for both sides to, you know, to get opposite sides of the flip. It just, the thing that annoys me is that teams are not always cognizant of it, so sometimes we expect it and it doesn't happen, and sometimes we don't expect it and it does.
No, for sure. I mean, they've agreed that this one stayed in, so stunning save there from YAKA to keep this possession alive.
Yeah, it's Bocanegra who's going to have to toe the sideline.
Might need a lower angle.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but everyone on the field was happy, and if they're happy, then I'm happy. Trying to shoot down the line, the layout again. No, just the knee slide, Springsteen style from Bocanegra. Again, I feel like a fraud saying that because I'd call it a busted style knee slide, but there you go.
Different errors.
Meisel. So you're going to see the little crash through? No. Instead of finding it all the way across the field.
That's a stunning break.
Great throw to Bas. Now Bas to Castillo. Bas gets it back. They've already shown their prowess in the red zone. This time just being a lot more circumspect and unspectacular, but doing the right thing, getting the break off into a more central position. Matias wants to get the dish through. I imagine there is a call on this.
I think there is an attempt to throw and go, which might have got fouled. So the travel got called, but then also the disc got dropped, which is a turnover. But oh, so it looks like it was a hand block, which is being called as a foul.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Matias had relinquished control, but I'll have to look at it again in slow motion. And they decided, you know what? Okay, let's just agree to disagree and get playing again.
Yeah, for sure. That one was close enough. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that one staying with YAKA. But almost a stunning little hand block there outside the end zone. Would be quite demoralising actually, because you know, with the wind, Eastblock can pick that one up and just root one it if they wish.
Been there. Matias.
Ooh.
Stays calm. Looking for Bocanegra. Back to Matias, just shy of the end zone now. Surely the little dish into nice. Bocanegra for the score. Bocanegra did all sorts of work on that point.
Yeah, on that point for sure. Two saves, one on the sideline, and then that busted knee slide, followed by the goal. So great point Great point from her. I really like the energy from Eastblock. So there's no easy catches here from YAKA, and they're putting a lot of pressure on the force as well. But yeah, I think it's quite important here that they don't get bored. They need to just be patient with this next possession and score and take half 2-point lead.
Yeah, had a lot of success there with that chisel style cut where they come from behind and you go all the way around and just getting led a little bit into space. You're catching it, looking forward, and you know, if you're outside the end zone, you can get it out of your hands quickly, and if you're in the end zone, well then you're in your end zone and you've scored, right? And that's, of course, the point of the whole thing. Timeout here on the field. Eastblock up 7-6. Late in first half action here at EUCF.
Yes, he will. The lovely did.
YAKA 6, Eastblock 7 then. Women's pre-quarter action late in the first half here at EUCF 2024. Both of these sides, I think, would have been a little bit disappointed to be in this situation coming into the weekend, but that's the situation in which they found themselves, so you've got to make the best of it, and there is going to be a big favourite crashing out. Elsewhere in the crossover rounds in the all-English affair, Icenia 5-4 on Bristol. Fabulous with a 7-6 lead over Box, and Troubles lead Jet Set Love 7-6. So all of the women's pre-quarters within one. The winner of this game, YAKA Eastblock, goes on to play BFD Shout.
Another clash of the Titans there in the quarters. I think what an unfortunate prize for making it into the top 8.
Well, Eastblock did register a victory over Shout back at Elite Invite, so they would fancy their chances, and YAKA, you know, the #1 seed coming into the weekend, I think they'd back themselves as well.
Absolutely fair comment. Yeah. I think, you know, just with the extra game in your legs and stuff like that, BFD have a nice lie-in today.
Yeah, that does certainly help, especially when it was quite an attritional day yesterday.
For sure. I mean, I hate to say, I'd probably take a Shag quarter versus a Jinx quarter, given form this year in the rosters.
But Shout are one of those teams where they just know how to get the job done.
Yeah, practiced winners.
Yeah. So YAKA then taking that time out, I think, to try and scheme something defensively, and they're going with a zone that they're trying to apply a lot of pressure to the handlers. Talister, I think, found the soft spot on the far side. A little bit of air, not a problem though. Talister has plenty of time and space. Vavrova. Squeaked through.
Oh. Nice little hug, everyone's still friends.
Collecting the dish off then is Hadova. And after the pressure of being near their own end zone, Eastblock just slowly matriculating their way down the field. Pump faking the backhand to just try and space apart that front line. And it's quite a workman-like possession at the moment for Eastblock.
Yeah, I was speaking in the first half, well, earlier in the first half, to how Eastblock themselves will need to tidy up the space in front of their throwers and those throwing lanes. And what YAKA have basically done is, if you're going to clog them up, we'll clog them up too. And they've been quite oppressive here with their zone, making it really hard to gain much momentum with these small pops. But finding gap now, recycling well.
They are so good at finding those little creases. Hadova goes offhand to Zaluska.
Oh, great find.
Fizz through to Mashkova. How long will they keep with this? Talister maybe thought about pulling the trigger, but holsters. And Zaluska collects a reset instead. Now leading to the break side with the inside shape. Khrushchakova inside to Sluster to the end zone. That is a superb possession. Sluster finds Herveltseva to give Eastblock an 8-6 half-time lead. Just that was a tough YAKA zone to piece through, and they found those little spaces, and they were so good at orchestrating the tempo when they got through that front line.
I said after the last YAKA score that Eastblock need to not get bored, and I think they have been very patient, very mature, very demure, you might say, in their approach to this last point. So yeah, really good patience. They found the gaps when they needed to, exploited. That break in particular was so nice. And then yeah, back to business as usual. A couple of slash cuts and then a couple of pops for the goal.
They see, you know, just a defender on the wrong side, head turned the wrong way, and the disc will go. And yeah, the beautiful inside break from Marita Luska really opened up that space for them to get them off to the races. And to Eastblock, well, could they be about to pull a stunner here? The number 1 seed, YAKA, going to have to fight their way out of a little bit of a hole. Eastblock lead 8-6 as we go into halftime here at EUCF 2024.
On October 14th, 2024, the first ever World Beach Ultimate Club Championships will take place in Portugal. Follow the over 600 games as the scores update live online. And with free streaming from the Ulti TV arena, you can catch your favourite teams on your phone or from the comfort of your couch. Don't miss any of the action from Portimao.
Hi everyone, welcome back to EUCF 2024. Ben Chiris and Hoagie, Connor Hogan in the booth with you, and we are very much enjoying this women's pre-quarter. Spirits are high for Eastblock as well, they might be, with an 8-6 half-time lead over YAKA. Hoagie, how have they done it?
They scored 8. YAKA scored 6.
That's, you know what?
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
That's very true. Wait, they're paying you?
No. No, how it's been done has been a lot of patience on their offense, and I think with their defense, they've mixed up their styles quite a bit. So they've had some points with very kind of passive zone, kind of tempting YAKA into taking some more aggressive shots, which they have done, and you know, some have worked out, some have not, and then they've done their best to be as clinical as they can after the turn. They've been a little bit looser, I think, on their D-line, taking some shots, but that is the essence of a D-line. Whereas on the YAKA side, I think that they need to, you know, show their experience and maturity as players, be a little bit more patient. I think the key to their success is coming out with a lot of pressure and trying to stop those give goes. I would love to see a flick force from YAKA, because they are basically just been broken from slash cuts and backhand pops, which are easy peasy. So force those short range flicks, which are very difficult in wind, and see if you can get some pressure that way.
So YAKA receiving, they'll be going downwind to start the second half, which big for Eastblock to be able to carry that upwind break all the way into half.
No, for sure. I think that was a really crucial one for Eastblock to get just before half, to ensure that they have this 2-point lead. And then yeah, we'll just see how long they can hold on, and if they can keep this one going for the next 40 minutes or so.
The pool certainly left something to be desired though. Bladed too early and span back towards the end zone. Spun? Span? Answers on a postcard.
Spun.
Sponge.
I wanted to see the scuba there. Sorry, Ben, do you want to see the scuba there with high hands preventing it?
Now they've got Meisel on the far sideline. They're going to try and trap YAKA in here. Meisel just able to pop it behind to Delaval.
Yeah, they got a little greedy with that crash. Stayed in a little bit too close for too long. And YAKA punish.
Lucas Lefebvre just pops it into the end zone to Delaval for the score. That's exactly the way that they would have wanted to start the second half. For sure, yeah, I think so. We've spoken to the roller pulls becoming more of a thing in the last few years, but I think you gotta practice them. You need to know what edge you're looking for. I think that one flips too early, so it seems maybe slightly less practiced.
So yeah, I think they just get punished by not setting themselves up properly on defense, unfortunately.
Yeah. And not only was it not necessarily the longest pull, but it was also right in the centre of the field. And one of the things you're looking for with those rollers usually is to try and pin on the sideline.
Yeah, absolutely true, absolutely true. So yeah, just like not the ideal start, but you know, they have the confidence that if they can just put in their downwinders for this entire second half, then it's GG, WP, no re.
What?
Good game, well played, no replay.
Oh, I was like, what's no re? And I was like, I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not cool enough.
I shouldn't know what these things are. I'm not cool enough to be a gamer in my 30s, but here we are.
I mean, my gaming experience consists of watching my partner play games and playing way too much Pokemon, so you know, that won't surprise people who know me, by the way.
Nothing wrong with any of that, to be fair.
Castillo getting ready to pull then.
Castillo, who famously will, in her run-up, say 3-2 and then says yeet as she releases.
Big fan of that. Of course, played with the victorious Tokai Super Team at Windmill this year. I know Steph was very excited to get her on board.
Yeah, too right. She's a very exciting player, both on offense and defense. Will earn you blocks and can rip some backhands, often to the forehand side. So it's quite a interesting inverted hook that she throws. I love to watch it. You know, she lives and dies by that sword. It's quite fun to watch.
And of course, she's playing against her Super Team teammate Christina Talista. There we are, Steph. I assume the check's in the post.
Yeah.
Vavrava, as YAKA, they really have slowed Eastblock down here.
Yeah, I think I want to see more people around the disc with Eastblock, so they only had 2 back for a time there, which is definitely going to slow things down. But yeah, they've better structure now with 3 back. They just don't want their handlers to disappear through the cup. Yeah.
Yeah, push Talista through, but then you need to make sure that Mashkova's coming to fill that spot in behind. Eastblock going nowhere at the moment. Talista showed the offhand but shelved it. And that's lovely throw, but it just dropped suddenly, and it's in and out of Talista's hands.
I was midway through saying that's a stunning break, and it dropped to the floor. So I'm glad I bit my tongue.
You couldn't even get it out of the mouth before you were proved wrong.
Yes.
I mean, it still looked gorgeous, but at the end it just died so suddenly. Putting that into the backfield for Mondio, and she doesn't get a shot at it.
Speaking of Mondio, she has not followed deep off her own turnover, and she's been punished.
Yeah, Mashkova saw the one-on-one, backs Talista in that matchup against Mondio, picks it up, rips it with the air underneath it. Talista tracks it into the end zone, and Eastblock get away with it to hold downwind 9-7.
So that thrower didn't even sprint to the disc. I think there's a lot of time for Mondio to hustle back on defense and win back her own turnover. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in the lack of hustle there. And you know, rightly punished. Well done, Eastblock.
Again, we think about them as a small ball team, but when they see the opportunity, there is some old school check in them that they will just pick it and rip it.
No, too right. And you know, that wasn't the easiest catch either, coming over the shoulder. Talista doing great work to reel that one in. That would be the Friction Glove catch of the week. Unofficially, of course. I don't have that power.
Do they still exist?
Layout glove? I don't know. I'll check them if they're on our branding preferences.
I mean, it is the official position of the booth that gloves are lame, by the way.
I mean...
Look, I'm not saying that they're not useful.
I'm
just saying that they're lame.
Yeah, okay, fine. I was going to speak to their usefulness, but like,
because everything good you see in gloves, everyone can just say, yeah, but it only happened because they wore gloves. It wasn't actually that good.
I see. What if you like get a foot block and it's like, nah, it doesn't count because they're wearing gloves?
True. In fact, if you're wearing shoes, foot blocks, not important. How well have you done that in bare feet? Maybe we should have like a Tokai foot block of the week.
That'd be strong.
I'll get Steph's people onto it.
Yeah.
By which I mean Steph.
Steph is people.
YAKA swinging around the back. Matthias Tamaba Condiason. Finding those spaces well. And they're playing Not unlike their opponents, where they are trying to keep the disc moving relatively quickly early in store counts. They're underneath it, and I'm not sure that Delaunay ever really had a great read.
I think that was one of the more difficult, challenging reads that we've seen requested of players today.
Yeah.
Attempting for a back shoulder shot, but I think your back shoulder would have had to be in the far end zone of the back pitch to be able to reel that one in. That was overthrown, overcooked, and not really what YAKA needed. Not really what they needed at all.
So Eastblock working against the wind, but it's certainly nowhere near as fierce as it has been at points this weekend and even this game.
No, for sure. They've shown they've been able to score up win a few times now, so we see what their D-line's cooking.
Yeah, Kotlubova can be a shooter as well when she wants to.
Good force.
Masloviakova, who caught the upwind break, now trying to lead it. Matthias comes in. Foul called.
So I'm not sure if it's a foul call or a dangerous play call, but really great spirit here from YAKA. Matthias just immediately giving it up, so that is brilliant spirit.
Yeah, trying to squeeze it down the line to Lehotska. Matthias came flashing across, and I think Lehotska was saying, I had to pull out there because I was trying to avoid contact, and Matthias saying, you know what, fair enough.
Yeah, I think the up the line shot may be a little greedy in how much they were looking for, but yeah, I mean,
Matthias is going to get revenge in the end, and I think just got a little bit of a clip from Waltadova on the end of it. Foul accepted.
Some would say just don't lie, but you know, I think great spirit, well rewarded them with her good work after that to get the block.
I would say I've definitely seen some discs fly in the past.
Yeah, facts, to be fair.
Can Eastblock burgle a turnover near YAKA's end zone? Funneling them into that sideline. The trap is set.
There are currently 0 Eastblock players in this half of the pitch. Oh, I meant the right half of the pitch, but stunning read. Great grab.
Superb stuff by Emma Delaunay as Lucas Lefebvre has had enough of playing in the shadow of her own end zone. Punted it well, and Delaunay won that one-on-one matchup superbly.
Considering how long each YAKA handler was hanging onto the disc and the pressure they were under, I'm pretty happy with that punt to just see what they can get out of it. And what they get is really good field position, and they keep the disc.
Yeah, even if they aren't able to punch this in, this is so much more preferable to being near your own end zone all the time. And what a way to punch it in as well. A little bit of Oyo on that one. Lucas Lefebvre slightly off balance, slung that, leading Delaunay into space, and the two connect as they did on the huck to bring YAKA back within one.
That was a casual one-hand grab. You know, after the big grab under the hook, see a big exhale, settle themselves, reset the disc. A few phases later, go in for the casual catch. So yeah, really big point there for Delaunay. Very impressive piece of work.
Yeah, not necessarily one of the bigger names on the YAKA roster, but when she's had a number called on in this game, she has always answered the bell.
That number, for reference, back home is 20.
Do you know what that is in French?
20. Is that right?
Oui.
Ah, très bon.
D'accord. Slap her hands there on the Eastblock sidelines. They battled well, but just couldn't quite finish the job. They are, however, in a very good position. Game's longer today than yesterday, 90 minutes rather than 80. And that means it's an extra 10 minutes of focus, which doesn't sound so much. But when games are at this level and are this intense, it does make a difference.
People won't be able to see, but I'm nodding along because everything Benji has said about the additional focus, the additional energy needed, everything is just like spot on. It's an extra battle today when you're already fatigued from day one. So yeah, we're 2/3 of the way through this game. Lots of frisbee left to play.
Eastblock field from the floor. And Haveltseva to Hadova. Flat line up front for YAKA. Again, they're trying to see if they can get Eastblock to give them a freebie on one of these dumps or swings.
Oh,
love the scuba to get the space.
Oh, and the give go. I love this pace, not letting the YAKA zone catch up too much.
They play with tempo so well. Little thread through, but it was low. and in and out of Hudsova's hands. What can YAKA do? Can they get the upwind break? Pass to Mondio. Trying to squeeze it through. Thought there might have been a lane to bid there, but Tlister wasn't quite set for it. Babikian to Castillo. Now Mondio taking advantage of poaches all the way across for Bocanegra. The Colombian puts the air underneath it. Little Latin American connection is there. Oh, there is. It lands right in Castillo's lap. Good contest underneath it. And Castillo ruled the skies. And YAKA bring it level at 9s.
Speak of the Latin American connection, would you describe that goal as bueno? Perhaps.
See?
Yeah. No, that was really good movement. I loved the wide swing. I think the shot to the end zone probably isn't the shape they want, but John Madden says
they all count.
They all count.
They all count. I mean, this is just putting air underneath it. Huge crowd of bodies, but Castillo tracks it well on the second attempt. And you've got to buy a ticket to win the lottery, etc., which ignores the fact that maybe you could just find a winning ticket on the street. But the point is that, you could say, well, they got a little bit fortunate, but they put themselves in the position to get that fortune.
No, for sure. And even when we go back to the Eastblock turn, that was caused from the pressure of the YAKA forces making that forehand shot on the inside a little bit harder. And I do believe at halftime I called out they should go to that forehand force, so I feel quite smug.
Honestly, it feels really good, like you've got an extra prescience when you say something and then it happens and you're like, yeah, see? We do know what we're talking about. Yeah. We're not just a pretty face. Which is obviously the main reason we're hired for this audio medium.
Yeah. Faces for radio.
Hey, we got on camera earlier.
Yeah, that is true.
Which, thanks, by the way, Nick. I appreciate your drone work, but
yeah,
not sure anyone needed to see that.
I need a parental guidance message if we're going to do that. Ooh, couldn't see that behind the camera person. So
it looked like Hudsova caught it and then crashed into Bocanegra a little.
For a shoulder, I heard. The body language in the chat looked all very friendly, so we're back in, all mates.
Yeah, for the intensity of the game, the spirit, I think, has been very good.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be stuff out there that we're not privy to that has left a slightly sour taste, but from our perspective, yeah, it seems like a very fair game. Feels like YAKA have just got a little bit more pep in their step now. The sideline feels a bit louder and a bit more pointed. Hadava with the offhand through to Dole Jalova.
I love that. I give go. I need to find another way now to get some more momentum. Maybe get away from the bulk of the YAKA players.
Yeah, the wind picking up a little bit as there is a stoppage, which provides a good opportunity for you to be able to hear the wind through the effects mic.
That's just my breathing.
Oh, that's what that is. Haveltseva. Just go short to Hadava. Hadava, opening it up. I didn't really see that coming in with the trailing edge. Oh, my word. Dole Jalova, how are you doing that?
Nothing about that catch made sense, but it happened. So here we go.
And now Hadava's on the ground.
So I think she took a line at the YAKA player, then diverted her line away from the YAKA player, and I think arms came out, and the YAKA players now agreed. So again, another good show of spirit there. Listened to each other, gave up the foul. Still coming in one. But going back to that grab, the defender swats at it, misses it. Eastblock player swings an arm low and just happens to have it stick in their hand.
And then Tlister catches the upwind. This might not stand though, because I think they definitely saw the signal for a pick. I mean, this very much comes from my coaches, but whenever I see people go to catch things trailing edge, I throw up in my mouth a little bit. When it works, it looks great.
So I would ask, in part, I would need to see another replay perhaps, but has the pick here stopped the eventual assister from getting from getting the disc? And if sorry, what I mean is the person who caught the disc through the assist has it stopped the defender from getting to them? And if so, did they have a way of stopping the goal go through?
Yeah, so it's Lucas Lefebvre who's marking Vavreva. Can't get into position to maybe not necessarily get tight enough to put a force on, but at least be in that lane, trying to come round Bocanegra, and they decide that actually, you know what, it's not had an effect. Again, you know, calm, reasonable discussions, call retracted, goal stands, Eastblock back on top.
Totally unrelated, but I'm now torn between watching the end of this incredible spirited game and running over to the nearby velodrome where apparently there is competitive penny farthing racing going on.
I'm sorry, what?
Over in the velodrome nearby, there is competitive penny farthing racing going on, and I'm not sure if my itchy feet will allow me to stay here and commentate the rest of this game.
I mean, can competitive penny farthing racers do that? I do not think so. An outrageous scoop, an eventual score. Lucas Lefebvre retracts the call, and Eastblock with the 1-goal lead once more.
I'm really impressed with the YAKA spirit this game. There's been 2 or 3 really close calls, like arguably like what could end up being game-defining moments where they have been very happy to just say, do you know what? I trust you're not doing this to gain advantage. Trust what you're saying. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And it's great to see sometimes in these close games there can be like sour feeling around like, oh, you kind of won the calls, and that can be reflected on the sideline or on the scoreline rather. But they seem pretty chuffed to just crack on and have that trust.
Good pull that Bas picks up not too far from their own end zone. YAKA trying to move it quickly before the defense gets set. Utilising the width of the field well here, Hoagie.
Yeah, definitely. I think as we see it popped. So I was just about to say that the Eastblock zone was way more spread out that phase, and it was allowing the easy swings and the big gaps for YAKA to exploit. But you know, one pop disc and back in their hands. So maybe it was all a ruse.
It wouldn't surprise me to see them look long sooner rather than later. There it goes, looking for the blade, trying to fade it over the top of Bas, and Bas smacks that away dismissively.
You know what? She almost didn't get there. It was good read at the last minute to run out in front of her, run out in front of the receiver. But yeah, she almost misread that entirely at the expense of trying to box out.
Bas trying to take an aggressive option. And that, I think, is their style really as a handler, is that they have such a wide toolbox to utilise. And they are trying to find ways to not just, you know, move the disc, but really attack and break the defence apart. Castillo, Tarasa, who's another one of those players, and Mondio goes back to Castillo. Now Babikian is acting as a fulcrum in the backfield.
A slight overcommit there from Eastblock, giving up that break off the sideline, the swing. They've just been to keep their forces on, keep them trapped on the sideline they want them to be on.
Nice throw and go to get some movement from behind. Mondio at midfield. Babikian. It's a slow, patient possession this from YAKA. Just about sticks in Mondio's clutches. And going short to Bas, and it knocks off their knees and out again.
And I wouldn't say I'm singling her out as apologies. I wouldn't say I'm singling them out as the only person with errors this game, but I think Bas has now been involved in 3 or 4 turnovers for the YAKA line. So I think they just need to dial in a little bit, refocus. Oh, as they get this back, but there's 20 minutes left in this game. Bas can really be a game changer for them, for better or worse. So if they dial in, they will play a big pivotal role, I imagine, in the rest of this game.
Bas, being hassled on the force, goes back to Meisel, then activates, gets the disc on that bounce back. Bas Pumps the backhand instead to Meisel, trying to get some break side flow here to Babikian. Doesn't like that Castillo cut. Meisel again threatening that break, and when they don't get it, it's into the backfield. Utilising the poach as Castillo a few yards away. Can Eastblock find a red zone stand?
Stall's rising. Oh,
Got to get
throw into
something
space.
off.
Very nice control on that. A lot of spin on that touchy throw into space. Loved it.
And took advantage of the face mark as the defender saw it late, but Mondio had eyes on it all the way, and Castillo had eyes on that one all the way, just able to chop her feet to stay in bounds, and we are tied once more at 10s.
Oh, I need to sit down in between points because this is just hectic. It's great. It's very high energy, but it's exhausting to keep up with.
It's a lot.
Can't imagine what it's like on pitch.
No, I think it's one of those where actually, if you're kind of involved in the game, it's a little bit easier because you can because you're up and engaged and you're active. But on the sideline, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
they need a bit of a breather. But both sides, you can tell that they are so locked in right now.
Yeah, I spoke about having to, keep composure, keep focus. I think this pass here from Mondio, the massive wide break for the goal,
Beautiful.
has come onto the break side. Slight committal force coming straight to the thrower rather than widen around to close off that break space. And that just kind of opened up all that space to throw into. So exploited by YAKA. But yeah, just need to dial in a little bit. 15 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, YAKA, of course, have that wealth of experience and pedigree. They've been in this situation before, multiple-time European champions. The last claimed the crown back in 2021 in Belgium at EUCF in Bruges, which I seem to remember had glorious weather. Wait. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. I take that all back. That was World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships, the granddaddy of them all, in Sardinia, and we went straight from there to Bruges, and let me tell you, that was a culture shock.
Which begs the question, has there ever been exclusively good weather at an EUCF in Belgium in particular?
I'm not sure there ever been any EUCF anywhere, to be fair.
I see.
That'd make things too easy. You've got to really test them.
Do you reckon then the end of September is the wrong time for this event?
No comment.
I see.
Gets the little dish off there, does Hadova. Now Mashkova. Travel calls.
We see Mondio coming out in this line again. Maybe stacking one or two lines, getting out some of the stronger throwers to see if they can get this downwind break. It would put YAKA back up. It would be the second break of this half, so get them back up on top on the lead.
Yeah, just the one break for either side. As Eastblock going nowhere in a hurry at the moment. What's that little push pass from Talista?
I think there's a little bit too much pop, catch, stand still. There needs to be a little bit more width in this attack as we see a little wider swing. I'd like to see that continuation go.
Normally they play with such dynamism, but it does feel quite static at the moment.
For sure.
Offhand to Mashkova. And this YAKA defense is really creeping and encroaching up, isn't it? Now Talista can't hit the pass beyond because Lefevre pinches in. You feel like if they can break their way through, then bang, they're off. But at the moment, they've struggled to get beyond the front line. Now they are a little bit of space. Talista just holsters.
It's crazy the distance of time between Benji saying if they could break through, they're off, and Eastblock breaking through and getting 4 quick passes. But they've now gone back to this swinging slog, looking for another breakthrough.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing sometimes.
It's almost like you've watched enough, Frizz. Oh, lots of space now as the zone seems to be melting.
Yep.
Need to take advantage of that.
Going to transition into one-on-one. They'll lead Talista into space, but they sold it short. And Bocanegra Gomez continues her superb game with the block. Huge opportunity for YAKA to take their first lead of the game.
Definitely the most influential player for YAKA, I'd say, in the second half at a minimum, and putting up some big plays the first half too. Been very impressed with them.
Mondio didn't go early enough and is intercepted. If you're Eastblock, I want to be trying to move the disc before the defense can get set with that zone that slowed you down. It looks like they're just going to stick with match defense here. Mashkova, low throw, well caught, body full behind that from Haveltseva. Now Hadova to Vavrova. Just pinballing this around. Trying to squeeze the inside window through. Swan Lacoste Lefebvre bids, doesn't get there. And Eastblock had a scare, but they held firm, 11-10.
Yeah, Rasta involved in another turnover there, and I think I'm not sure that she's putting in her maximum effort to get the disc back after the turnover. I think she needs to just recognize I'm bloody good at this sport and just put in a bit of a shift once they turn and get it back, get the confidence back with their players, and then just pick the right shots, because I think she's forcing things a little bit too much.
And when they got the second possession, they were just moving the disc so much earlier in the stall count. The throw seemed a little bit crisper. And this is, again, fired and fizzed into Haveltseva. Good weight of pass there from Hutseva, because you've got to put some real ping and revolution on it to get it past the defender. But if you hit it too hard, then it'll go through the hands, or it'll make an even more difficult catch. So it's tough to judge that weight of pass.
And I'd argue too, part of the part of success there after the back and forth turns was Eastblock got to play against not the YAKA zone.
Yeah.
So they didn't have that stifling defense. They were against person defense, and that just allowed them to play the normal game, which YAKA struggled to stop for the last 80 minutes.
Yeah. So were this yesterday, then the cap would be about to go on any second now. But we are back to full 90-minute games now, and Eastblock have still just about got their noses in front.
And importantly, they keep scoring upwind, which gives them the opportunities, easier downwinds. I want to see them come out and put a lot of pressure on now and see if they can get another downwind break.
Castillo wants the quick dish off to Bas, but instead that stopped and goes to Mondio with the tricolor headband. Mondio winds up the arm, looking for Castillo. Is she going to get it? Oh, a cloud of bodies, and it is Castillo who comes away with it.
That's the second time that Maria has come down with the disc in a pile of 4+ players.
She's good at that.
Yeah, not bad, hey.
Accepted foul?
Correct. I think arguably after the hook as well, that foul benefits YAKA to be able to just reset a little bit and just take a breather.
Oh, that's a floater, and ripped away by the defender. I'm not sure anyone got a touch on it before then, so if Bas had tried to catch it, I think it would have been a turn. But now, chance for Eastblock to get a 2-point lead, and they've got the wind at their back.
Yeah, so there's an Eastblock player lurking towards the end zone. I would love to see them come under and open up that deep space for someone else, because they're just static at the moment.
Yeah, and also because that's hopefully going to clear Babikian out of that space as well.
Hard
a
agree.
little bit of a foot block, but it still works. Not enough on it. And
Speaking of that deep space,
they did clear out the deep space, and the deep shot is brought in by Dominika Kozova. Eastblock 2 up, 12-10.
sometimes Benji Reese is out here predicting things and then they happen, and sometimes, you know what, I have one of my own. As soon as they got that thanks Benji, as soon as they got that player out of the end zone, someone else was able to strike, and that was a perfect shot. Defender didn't really have much of a bid, and that's just like stunning bit of frizz from Eastblock, and a really important break at this point of the game as well. Because I think the YAKA Stars just needs to just settle down, remember who they are, but also just dial in their shots, because they're not getting it done right now. Have trust with everyone else to be able to do the frizz and just play through the whole roster, because they're a really deep team, but they're relying maybe on one or two players who aren't on form.
Yeah, that was the one element of fortune maybe that Lacoste Lefebvre, you could tell the disc was altered in the flight path as it maybe just tinged the tip of a cleat, but there were two players in the area. Hodacheva catches, instantly releases and unleashes, and that forehand with the blade on the edge is perfect, keeps the defender away. Kurzeva in in stride, doesn't have to break speed, and Eastblock 12-10 up, 7.5 minutes left, are the number 1 seed, not even going to make the top 8. Well, unless they can find a big comeback, that's what's going to happen.
It's wild. Wild to think of, you know, the EUCF quarters, not even like, you know, semis or final, but the quarters not featuring YAKA would be crazy to me.
And that would mean, of course, that no bids to Elite Invite next year as well.
Goodness. That is something. You know, oh.
Thing is, you know that they've got the quality to come back, and they've been in these situations and they've done it before from bigger deficits. But Eastblock, they must be, I mean, walking on air at the moment, and you can see those spirits are high and the intensity is up. Bocanegra with another clutch catch near the sideline. Fizzes it underneath. Looking for the reset. Miscommunication. Bocanegra Gomez gets
another
underneath
save.
again.
Oh, mate. She's playing out of her mind.
Yeah, the Colombian has had a heck of a game.
Nice break. Oh, love that.
Now Delaunay threads it through to Matias. That's exactly what they needed. Yes, there was maybe 1 or 2 slightly tetchy catches, but just getting in the hold nice and quickly, getting your offense off, get your D-line out there on the field, try and earn these breaks. They need, of course, an upwind and a subsequent downwind to flip the score in their favour.
And I think it was quite important for YAKA to score quickly on that point. Important to not give Eastblock's offensive line too much of a break. You want to, you know, keep your O's clean, keep them quick, and then keep the opposition offense out in the pitch for as long as possible.
Yeah, here's Diaz, whose play is immaculate as ever, and then just gets it off and continues through to the end zone. You get a view of it now from behind with the drone. Again, just little lean back, utilize the 360 of the pivot to access the angle to Lacoste de Fevre. She bounces it through Delaunay to Mattia for the score. 12-11 Eastblock, 5 minutes left. Can YAKA break Eastblock hearts, or will the number 1 seeds crash out here in Oostende?
I love the drama, Benji.
It's great, isn't it? Honestly, there's something about EUCF that just that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. Although that might be because we're on the Belgian coast at the end of September.
No, you're right. The windbreakers have been out in force for the last 2 days, and I wouldn't be surviving without them. I did not bring enough warm clothes.
It does have a little bit of spice and a little bit of drama.
I think, too, if I was a fan at home, I'd just be loving the drama. I would be glued to the streams, and I'd be raging if I had other plans. So if you're watching this on demand, you've missed out. You've missed out the live drums.
There's something special about, you know, when there's you've got a group of people as well who are all watching, and you're all kind of buzzing in a Discord channel or something about it, and there's so much Ultimate to come. This is when it really heats up, as you know, you go into the brackets on Saturday and Sunday. Eastblock, after quarter-final heartbreak last year against Troubles, could they play spoiler now themselves? At the moment, YAKA doing a good job of just trying to keep a lid on them. Putting air underneath it, Babikian's in the area, but Talista held firm.
I've been really impressed with the Eastblock forehands going downwind. They're throwing them like high arcing, but they're throwing them with such touch and edge control that I'm just, super impressed. And that bid just coming really late, opened up another channel for them to attack.
And if you bid and you don't get there, Eastblock punish you maybe better than any team, because they will just run it through that player who has suddenly become free.
What I'm quite enjoying is how Eastblock are very happy to play the way they're facing. So if they catch the disc facing a handler, they're more than happy to pop that disc back towards the handlers rather than turning to face upfield. Felix out somewhere, developing his next principles of Hex video to show those principles in action.
Well, if that part of that is that, they were playing that way anyway before this season, but especially you bring a coach like Valerio and Yanni on board, who's had so much success implementing those motion style offenses, either helping coach Belgium U24 last year, or back with Oakland in the States growing their youth programs. Oh, the drop on the end zone line from Eastblock.
The feet were right, the hands were not.
They've scarcely put a foot wrong all game, but maybe too much thinking about the feet there and not enough about the hands. And YAKA could level it here.
And I think the right smile after the drop, knowing like that wasn't my best work, but knowing that, you know, still having a little bit of confidence in the smile that, you know, that I'll get this one back. I won't make that mistake twice.
Mondio with the stall ticking up, putting air underneath it. That's a beautiful throw, but there's defender in the area and an almighty crowd of bodies.
Oh, so there's a foul from YAKA player on Eastblock player, and then there's a foul from the Eastblock player on the YAKA player.
I think everyone's calling a foul.
I'll call foul too, why not?
I never touched him, ref. Have a look at it.
Do you know what? I think the first YAKA player is moving more backwards into the Eastblock player. Like, give me another look. They're all coming together, and I think it's just an absolute mess.
I feel like Khrushchev was kind of sandwiched in there, so I'm not sure too much else what she could have done.
Yeah.
I mean, against the wind, putting air underneath it. It's a good throw.
So I think the YAKA player who goes down first probably can't go down that way if they aren't still moving towards the other two players. But then the Eastblock player gets hands on disc and gets munched from behind. So, don't know what to think now.
It wouldn't surprise me if they contest fouls or the foul. They just say, well, offsetting fouls, and we'll send it back. And it is indeed going to go back into Mondio's hands.
Doesn't feel like the wrong outcome to me.
No. Whenever it's that, congested, it's so tough to work out exactly what went on.
No, for sure.
Cap about to come on any second now. Apparently the whistle has already blown, so finish this point and we'll have 12s game to 13 or 13-11 game to 14.
I don't know which one I want more. I don't know if I think, do you know what I want? Is Eastblock to score this 13-11, YAKA to put in 2 in a row
and get game to 14
and just have more frisbee. Yeah, why not?
I mean, I want to keep watching this game for as long as possible, so that makes sense. There's
a stall out. Oh, Hythen's drama, Benji. Oh, and then retracted. Less drama. My heart can't take this.
It's all right, Hoagie. Take a breath. Yep. Stall out. Retracted. Bas checks in. Bocanegra to Mondio. Trying to fake through. They've got Talista, who's picked up the ISO on Mondio. Marking infraction and then violation.
Yes, that is the call. TBC whether I thought the Eastblock player was within 3 meters. I don't think they've moved from where they are now, and that is further than 3 meters. But yeah, I mean, you know, given the call wasn't contested, then yes, absolutely the stall needed to be adjusted. So we'll play by that.
Castillo across. Looking for some continuation. Instead, back to Castillo. Now Babikian. It's the bees in the backfield at the moment. Bocanegra, Bas, Babikian.
Oh. Sitting one of the wall down with that force there. I think right option though, not to pull the trigger.
Bocanegra to Bas, fizzed it, and Bas really sure of hands. Hadova threatens the foot block and another stoppage.
Goodness.
God, you can feel the drama. You know how people could say you can cut the tension with a knife? You cut it with a spoon at this point.
Why, because it's melted?
Well, I mean, because it is that tight that the tiniest bit of pressure could cause it, and Castillo comes down with it again.
Just her third jump ball that she's won. 3 for 3.
It's a good batting average. Yeah. Chicago White Sox take note. Low. That's a good catch down by the shins. Basket has to power up line.
Some great defense on the dump there.
Still rising.
Oh.
Had to fizz it in or risk the stall out. And I think the stall out came in time anyway.
Hadava, the absolute hero of that phase, shutting down Bass up line, shutting down Bass on the inside and reset into the backfield again. Just no space to think. It was top tier defense, must say.
And that is no easy task.
No, for sure, absolutely.
So turnover. Wonder will Hadava try and just get it down the other end of the field? Not quite yet anyway. Tlista to Haveltseva. Now Mashkova. You've got to stay calm here, take a breath. I know you like playing with patience, but more speed, less haste. Tlista on the run, makes it stick. And now they're off to the races. Zaluska. Tlista. Back to Mashkova. And a drop from Zaluska. Is that nerves or just thinking about the next pass? It's a bad time for it either way. Low from Mondio. And it doesn't connect.
Goodness.
It'd been a pretty clean game up until now, and this is a timeout call from Mashkova. And normally I'm not a huge fan of in-play timeouts, but this makes all the sense in the world to me, Hoagie.
Steph Pazzo somewhere in the world right now, lining up a that's a turnout. But we'll see how they do after a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'm kind of glad they called it because I think we need a breather here in the booth as well. Don't go anywhere, I know you won't. YAKA 11, Eastblock 12, women's pre-quarter here at EUCF 24. Welcome back to EUCF 2024. I'm Benji Reese. He's Connor Hogan.
Yep, that's me.
We are living right now.
Oh, I'm almost speechless at the level of drams here. It's going to be very anxious leading up to the end of this game, and I don't know why, because I have no emotional investment in either of these teams. Just love a good bit of frizz, Benji.
You know when you're a kid and you shake up a can of soft drink and then hand it to your mate? I feel like that can right now.
That's stunning.
And
I absolutely love that analogy.
Think
the childish delight and the anticipation.
think how the players feel.
Like a shook can, is that what we're saying?
Like
they're all shook.
To be able to keep your composure in these sorts of games is so tough, and that's why if it goes to Universe, even though Eastblock would be receiving, YAKA might have the edge because they've been in those situations so many times before. So for Eastblock, I think converting on this is huge, and you just give yourself that little bit of extra breathing room. Cap went during this point, so we'll have 13-11 game to 14 or 12 game to 13 and into Universe. Checked in, and they're just going to dump it back.
Checked in, I see what you did there.
Thank you, I definitely meant that. YAKA set the zone back up off the stoppage. And now Hadava to Vavrova. Mashkova.
Good holster.
Disc rose a little bit there, not a problem. Hadava, one of the taller players on the Eastblock roster. Trying to move it to Mashkova. Tlista buzzing around that front line. Sides it through. Love the trajectory.
A stunning IO angle on that throw as well. Loved it.
And now to Tlista with Mashkova. Hadava sees two players through the centre. Haveltseva dives to make sure. Khryshakova. Zaluska now. Hadova surveying her options. Hrishakova. Tomasheva again. YAKA just trying to contain Eastblock here. Can't let them get up to speed. Talista
That's a stunning break.
Through Castillo into Hadova. 13-11, game to 14. Eastblock one away from a stunner.
Wow, wow, wow. I loved that initial IO break earlier in the points, kind of opened things up for Eastblock, but then that around just now, it was thrown with such poise and purpose, really, to take that hold, I believe. That's not a break. No, that is a hold.
That is a hold.
Yeah, so, you know, really good composure. The timeout worked. The Pazzo turnout didn't come to fruition.
I mean, I'm usually a strong proponent of a turnout, but I think what they did there was they were, I think, probably expecting YAKA to come out with a zone, and rather than try and force a set play, they were happy to just take a reset and just get their offense moving and playing normally. So often I think the problem is that it's so difficult to get the disc going from that standing start with the defense already in position. It's a couple of seconds before cutters can really get free, but that time, no, we'll just take the reset and we'll wait to get things moving before we advance downfield.
Too right. So what do we think? Is this going to be a 14-11, or do we think we're going to get a few more points in this?
With YAKA going downwind here, their O-line's been off the field for a little while. I think you'd probably back them to score here. Anything beyond that, who knows? If it does go to Universe, by the way, Eastblock would be going into the wind.
Yes, that's true. So YAKA needs the downwind and an upwind to stay alive. And then another downwind to take the win. I'm of similar vision to you. I will go out on a limb and say this will finish 14-12.
Nice. This game has only, well, the next game's due to start in 5 minutes. It's Deep Space versus Reading here, and Seskadistas versus Savage behind us. So I get to stay here, which is good, because I would hate to miss even a single second of this. Lovely weighted throw downfield from Meisel. Popped back into the Austrians' hands. Well, Meisel is now based in Leuven.
Yeah, was Savage Meow with a violation call?
We've had a few of those in this game. Something for Eastblock to work on in future.
Yeah, I wonder if it's them not adapting to the calls, or if it's maybe not hearing the calls.
Either way,
or
Meisel,
potentially a language barrier.
Yeah, with a superb throw through, and then Lacoste Lefebvre into Delaval. Superb from YAKA, and this is one of the things that has impressed me about YAKA, not just this game but all season actually, is their offense has seemed so much cleaner and consistent than it has been in years past, where they were, they would get the job done, but clean holds were not necessarily their strength. This year it really feels like when they need to, the offense can just go out and punch it in and punch it in quick.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was an important one to score quick. We spoke earlier on about the importance of having quick O points, getting the offense from the opposition back onto the pitch quickly, especially after any long points. That's exactly what we see here. You know, there really wasn't that many passes in total in that point, despite the, you know, there was the violation call, but. The point before to get it to 13-11, Eastblock had been on the pitch for quite a while with their O-line. We had a timeout, so that, you know, there was a lot of mental energy spent in that point. So we'll see if they can punch this one in. It's in their hands, you know. So it would also be great if they made my prediction of 14-12 come true.
Is that why you made it? Because if it happens now, then you say, well, I got it right. And if it goes to Universe, well, then it went to Universe.
It's a win-win for me, Benji. Yeah, I get additional drama, or I get to be right.
It's clever hedging, that.
Yeah.
So Eastblock on the verge of history. Hadova Fields just behind our own brick mark.
And a familiar sight of that YAKA zone.
Yeah, going flat up front, they feel like this is the best way to frustrate the Czechs. Hadova scoops over the top to Talista, who again sitting in that soft spot in the intermediary space. Now Talista not going to gun it yet.
Oh, wow.
for Dolezhaleva.
They've really progressed with pace here. It's been brilliant.
A little bit of a floater, but Hadova catches. One-on-one. Talista's up against Mondial. Going with the high release instead. Who's on it? It's Talista. Was she in the end zone? Not just yet. Also, Matthias is down, so I think there's going to be an injury stoppage. It's all going on, Hoagie.
That was a stunning grab. It was a little bit of tunnel vision, I think. It was a little bit of white line fever to try and get this over the line and into the end zone for the win. As there was a very free, as we see the replay, this is such a free Eastblock player on the break side, but instead they went for it all in one.
Yeah, it's Delaunay, I think, who just sits off there because she anticipates that throw going. And yeah, how Talista gets that beyond Matthias, I'm not quite sure.
I'd love a high angle replay just to see if, like, is that a force out? Like, would Talista have been able to get her feet down and in the end zone had there not been contact?
She might have been inbounds anyway, but as it is, Matthias is going to be carried off the field, which is, I must admit, a worrying sign. So
yeah, hope
fingers
she's okay.
crossed she's all okay. She's, I mean, she's such a key player for YAKA, but more than that, you never like to see someone go off injured, especially in a crunch moment like this. Talista will get the disc on the end zone line.
Oh, they did it!
With the force!
Oh my goodness!
To Dolezhaleva, and that's it! The arrow, the dagger, Eastblock into quarters. YAKA are out. The #1 seed is out in the pre-quarters.
I won't say the end of a dynasty, but certainly it's massive. A giant killing has just happened.
Well and truly slain.
And I'd love to see that final assist because it happened so fast, and I don't think there was even separation. She just said, "We're done. We're done here.
We've
Game
had
over.
enough of this."
Next." That is wild times.
I mean, huge leap and bound and a hug. Talista bouncing into Dolezhaleva's arms. I mean, it was scarcely even a throw, just shoveled out of the hands. But that was all it needed to be. And Eastblock, well, it was a disappointing day yesterday, but they have bounced back in the most remarkable fashion. And YAKA, you know, were 1 point away from getting a bye into the quarterfinals, but they went down to Moon Cup on Universe, had to play Eastblock, and Talista fits it in, really threads the camel through the eye of the needle. And they have ascended into heaven and into the quarterfinals.
Where was the gap to throw to between those two YAKA players? That's insane. I love the courage. I love the, you know, we're gonna stick to our guns. The small ball, the short passes, we'll just get it done. 14-12. Yeah, absolute scenes.
Hoagie, I would love to kibitz with you more about that game, but we've got to wrap it up quickly because, well, you're essentially in action next with mixed quarterfinals and all UK affair, Deep Space against Reading. So thank you so much for watching OldTTV's coverage of EUCF 2024 here on Solid Sport. The final score is YAKA 12, Eastblock 14. Eastblock into the quarterfinals. They'll take on Shout, and YAKA are out. See you on the other side.
Some closure, stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. You wanted her, so just give me what I deserve. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over. Run back to her, cause I got what I want, closure. Wasted too much heart on you. Wish I learned to use my head. Cause right before I fell for you, I fell right into your bed. I'm not looking for revenge. I don't need you to be my friend. I just want this fake love to come to an end. So can I get some closure? Stay right where you are and don't come closer. If you haven't picked it up, it's over.